question from Carrie. Any advice on ways to prioritize? I tend to see everything as important, then get overwhelmed. What a question, by the way.
Yeah, what a question indeed. Tactic or strategy I like to use sometimes is what's called the evil genie. Oh. So what I get people to do is I get them to write out a list of everything. So, you know, in terms of their priorities, etc. What I do is I'm going to pretend I'm an evil genie, and I'm going to take one of them away, but you have to choose which one. So people will pick one, and the first one isn't usually so hard. And then what we'll do is we'll start moving up that list. And every time you have to take one away. And I suppose the nice thing about that is, in one way, you can't see how really important things are. You can kind of start to judge your emotional reaction. But when you're forced to make a decision, you mightn't necessarily like it. And I suppose that would be a big part of the work that I would often do with people, is sometimes making the right decision doesn't necessarily feel good immediately. But, you know, which would you prefer? You know, sometimes you do have to make decisions that don't feel particularly good in the moment. But in the long term, they're going to make you feel an awful lot happier. Do you know what I mean? Absolutely.
So trying to avoid, I suppose, immediate gratification for something that will serve you in so many more ways. And I'm assuming that is linked with being able to see progress. If it doesn't make you happy right away, perhaps it's because it takes time for you to see progressing. Is that about right? Or what do you think?
Well, the immediate gratification problem, I mean, I think that's a certain amount of it's in framing. So what are you focused on in a moment? You know, we're often focused on the pleasure or the pain, you know, so the sweet or the fatty food tastes good right now, the exercise hurts right now, or it's tiring or it's exhausting, you know, and that's that kind of external motivation. We respond to reward and punishment. We respond to pleasure and pain, you know, but it doesn't necessarily always have to be the case, you know. Sometimes when we got something more important to do, we can overcome that, you know, we can push through. I mean, I'm sure you can all think of examples in your work, or dealing with your family, or dealing with things you haven't really felt like doing something, but you'll do it anyway, you know. And so we have that in us. I mean, on a lot of the work I would do with people in the one-to-ones is, you know, getting very clear conceptions around everything that's going on with that, and then trying to harness that deeper inner kind of reasons.